Start. Hello and welcome to WeDoAI 2025. This year's event is fully packed with a lot of AI, different topics around AI, and it's a very interesting event. Do check out the other sessions that are going on, other blogs that are coming in, and I would like to say thank you to all the organizers to selecting me for this session. क्या कर रहे हो? Recorded नहीं हो पाता. Hello and welcome to We Do AI 2025. For whatever time zone you're joining in from, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This event is a packed session with a lot of AI knowledge, and there is so much to learn around this. And the whole agenda of this event is to promote learning and sharing knowledge around the AI community. I would like to say a huge thanks to all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to present this. Moving along. So, in today's session, what we are going to talk about is how you're going to secure your AI and what exactly is Entra Agent ID is. And we will see all the aspects of it. What are the challenges? What are the options that we have available nowadays? So, without further ado, we'll move along. Before we go into the technical depth of it, a very quick introduction from my side. My name is Tushar Kumar. I am a cloud security lead at Codec Ireland. I'm a Microsoft MVP for identity and access. I do everything Entra and specifically security. I call myself a bit of a storyteller because I like to tell a lot of stories. Most of them are boring, but yeah, I like that. All my socials are on the screen, and you can scan this QR code as well. I'll tell you, this is not a phishing QR. This will take you to my blog where you can get all of my details as well if you feel like reaching out after this session as well. Just in a spirit of AI season, I would say most of the images in this presentation is AI generated, so don't get offended if you see any wrong spelling or something that has six fingers. Moving around, so today's agenda is basically we are going to talk about a bit of Entra Agent ID. We are going to see what's basically is the requirement for that. We are going to see what all the core features are available, and also how it is going to help us out in security and compliance aspects. Also, a fair bit of demo as well. Just before starting this session, I will give you a heads up. So, Entra Agent ID is something that was launched in build this year, and it is in very early stages. But as people say, Rome was not built in a day. So, it is starting very strong with a lot of good features. You should keep an eye on the improvements that is coming in, and there are new features as well coming in. Okay. So yeah, so the first one, so Entra Agent ID, that's basically is going to be a very crucial component within the overall Microsoft Identity framework. The reason being, it is getting more and more essential with the rise of all the AIs. But before even we go for AI, one thing that everyone is hearing about, okay, what is an AI agent? So basically, if we think about AI agents, right, it's is it real estate agent we are talking about? Is it a FBI agent we are talking about? It's basically in the core, I would say, AI agent is something a goal-oriented autonomous system which does not follow a traditional script, that does not follow a traditional set of instructions. Instead, it goes through, adapts based on the situation, and gives you the expected high level goal that you have given to it. So that is basically gives you a bit of a, I would say, flexibility in terms of giving a higher level goal to a specific, I would say, agent, and that agent goes on your behalf, does the work, and basically comes back with the expected outcome. So now that we know what exactly an agent is, we know that is acting more or less like a human being, right? We are saying, okay, agents, you go and do this particular work, or you do specific this particular job for me. But for human employees, basically, we do have a formal process in place, which basically is there is a manager request that goes in, there is an approval that gets granted, there is X, Y, and Z system goes through you have your workday, you have your HR systems that is basically doing all those workflows for you and then giving you, there's loads of I would say processes involved in that as well, right? But with the rise of all these co-pilots coming in and people able to deploy their own co-pilot and different agents getting created within SharePoint, and I was reading somewhere within Microsoft at like there is already 25,000 plus agents within the organization. And you might see a blog somewhere with from Alex Simmons where he has defined how it all goes in, because when you don't have a formal process, when you don't have a proper governance on top of this, you won't be able to control the overall, I would say, the sprawl. When we say sprawl, what exactly is agent sprawl, right? So it's basically a chaotic situation where you have a multitude of agents operating in your environment with a little, or I would say no visibility into what they are doing, what they can access. And that is basically a major security and compliance risk. And any security practitioner will agree with me, because at the moment, if you're going with an AI agent, it has given it gets all the permission that what it basically requires for the job, and post that there is no basically governance on top of it, like we do. Oh, you're not active from 90 days. You are shutting your account will be shut down for the human identities. So usually the agent sprawl is a big problem where all the agents, and even there is agent to agent communications happening as well. So there is like a agent is so agent Bob here, you can see on the screen, is asking something to another agent, and then it goes back to another Bob, it goes back to another agent. That is like a multi-process, and you might have seen demos around it, and you might see a lot of demos during our video AI sessions as well, that you can create agents that is going to be connected to a different agent communicating between each other. And that's where the main thing comes into picture. So we need to make sure that we are looking at the agents as part of our ecosystem. So if an AI agent is a new type of our workforce, then how do we manage it? So historically, we had two primary types. Basically, one is identities, and another is our systems. Human users, our applications, or client IDs, those kind of things, right? But AI agent is another area, but it's not a person, but it is more dynamic than your traditional application, like your traditional service principle kind of scenarios. So what we need to do around it, so we need to give it parity with your human users, and you need to make sure it is considered and that you are treating all these three in a same level of control. So you are considering agent IDs as well as you consider your user IDs. So basically you have similar level of controls. You are making sure you have all the rigor control security controls that you applied on your agent ID as well, just to make sure the agent sprawl and the chaos, you are on top of that. You know what is happening, you know what services they are accessing, and what services other agents are communicating to. Okay, so how this problem is getting resolved, right? Microsoft Entra ID is built to solve this problem. It's basically a new identity framework that assigns a unique identity to each and every agent that you create. Okay. So it is limited at the moment with Microsoft tools like Azure AI Foundry or a Copilot Studio, but it is soon to be extended to other areas as well. And that's the part that I was talking about initially, that it is going to grow legs quite, I would say, quite in near future, where you will be looking at different sort of services, also creating Entra Agent ID. Okay, the core idea of this is very simple, but I would say it's a revolutionary idea. By assigning an agents an ID, an identity, like giving it them a username, password kind of thing. It's not actually that, but yeah, that's basically considering them a non-human identities as well. By we can put sorry as well as your human identities, and providing them the same level of rigor controls that we apply on Bob from finance department. Okay, so and that is fair. If Bob from finance department is required to do 5 steps before he goes in and changes X, Y, and Z within their organization, right? Then why do AI agent Bob does not require, and he goes in without the checks that Bob goes through usually? Okay, so Entra Agent ID is basically going to be your centralized way of managing all your agents and basically all your agents' identity. Okay, moving along. So what is expected out of it? So there are two areas here. One is the implication for the developers, and another is basically for the identity teams. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So implication for the developers are, it is on demand. You can do a scoped token granting access to specifically thing. You can do a quick onboarding. You don't need to go with all those OAuth implementations, and basically it can help you going for a multi-tenant kind of approach as well. Okay, because when you're scaling, you might need to have access to different tenants. You might need to have connect to some different areas as well. From identity team, and I'll not say just identity team, it's just identity security perspective, you will be able to manage the conditional access policies, and you will be able to provide the real-time policies for those, basically making sure if I am not allowed as Tushar going in, my agent should also not be allowed without those controls going into such certain services. Second thing is automated lifecycle management. So ensuring you're getting least privilege. So things like your access reviews and other stuff comes into picture. All the good stuff that we used to do with automated lifecycle management in Entra, that basically brings it to here. And last but not the least, and everyone wants to do that, it's more around looking at okay, what is happening, what are you doing, when are you logging in, when are you logging out, what kind of activities when you're doing when you're working on things you're doing. So basically you get a proper track of what exactly your agents are doing. So in those cases, you will have a real clarity of what exactly is there, what exactly is not there. Now coming into a more interesting topic, right? So basically what we do usually is we relate everything to, and one of my favorite topic is zero trust. So we relate everything to zero trust. So what does actually Entra ID enables? Okay, so Entra ID, sorry, not just Entra ID, it's Entra Agent ID, gives us three critical capabilities from zero trust perspective. Okay, one is visibility. For the time you get unified directory of all your AI agents, they appear as applications in your Entra admin center. So you can see every agent, who created it, and what permission it has. That goes for the first uh, principle from zero trust. So you have the visibility in there. Second is you get to do the governance on top of it. So you get with the Entra Agent ID, you can apply existing identity governance controls. This means you can enforce conditional access. You can control when and how agent can access your resources, just like you do for your users. And also you can set it up with identity management lifecycle, as we discussed earlier, just so it gets disabled, deleted when they are no longer needed. Okay, last but not the least is security. So by managing this Entra ID and by managing Entra ID through this zero trust principles, what you're doing is you're ensuring least privilege. You are making sure the agents have only access to what they absolutely need to do the job. And that basically gives us a full view, and it is aligned towards our uh, it is aligned towards our overall zero trust approach. And if you see, there's nothing changed. It's not a I would say, change that you will see here, but it is just another part here. What you can see that is called agents that has been added as another identity provider, another identity not provider, but another entity within your identities. Okay, without further ado, we will go to demo and we will see quickly how it looks like and how you will see your agent IDs. And yeah, that will be okay. So here we will see a quick demo for our Entra Agent ID, which is, so I have Copilot Studio open here and I have created a stupid app, I would say. So all this app does is all this agent does is basically the description. I have given it a description. It is going to be a blunt and rude agent that tells users to try Copilot before asking questions. We have all been there. So sometimes we feel like, okay, go ahead, ask this question to Copilot, and then come back to me if you don't get answer, or to ask this to ChatGPT and then come back to me. If you're not satisfied with the answer, then I'll give you an answer around that. So yeah, I created an app like this, and within Copilot Studio, I believe you guys know it very well, better than me. You can create a new agent by just describing that. You can just go in and you can just say, okay, what do you want to build? And you say, I want to build a demo app for WeDoAI 2025. Just say XYZ. So that is all. Basically, you can just say, you can give a proper prompts, which basically is going to be describing what kind of uh, app, what kind of agent that you want to build, and basically you'll be able to create an agent. And that's what your workforce has been doing. They are just pointing it to one SharePoint directory, creating their own agents, asking their questions, and that's where the agent sprawl comes into picture, right? The moment I click create, that goes in, that does something, it does some great things in the back and basically comes back with an agent. But under the hood, what is happening here is you get an agent ID created. So where exactly you are going to find that agent ID? That agent ID is basically going to be within your agent ID is going to be within your enterprise applications. And within your enterprise applications, what you can do is you will see there is a new thing popping up here, which is called Agent ID. And that basically is giving us ability to filter through all our agents. So the one that we just created named XYZ, that's the one, that's the one that I created to reply with sense, feeding sense into people before before getting any answer. So if I go into one of these, right, I can clearly see, okay, what all roles they have, what all functionalities. Sorry. So if I go in here and if I see roles and administrators, it's basically sitting in with two roles, which is one is report reader and one is the cloud application administrator. If I don't want that, I can just go in and get this guy out of that. And that basically gives me more of a control over this. There is a lot more coming in for this one. So you have to keep an eye on what exactly are the improvements coming in with Agent ID. And I would definitely say there is a lot coming. So keep an eye on what's going on around Agent ID. And probably I will come back with a different, in some different session where you will see once it is evolved even further, we'll see what else we can do with Agent ID. So for now, I would say just thank you so much. And you can follow me on different social platforms. And if you have any further questions or if you want to discuss anything Entra, just reach out to me. And that is all. Thank you so much.